y'all, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Jessie with Southern Fried Sushi Gal. Today we are going to be making 3 yummy recipes, so let's get started. Alright, so the first recipe that we're going to make is going to be a Cajun shrimp pasta. I have 2 bags of shrimp because my son can eat a whole bag by himself. Then I had Parmesan cheese, butter, an onion, multicolored bell peppers, penne pasta, olive oil, which I did not use, Cajun seasoning, salt that I did not use, and then heavy whipping cream. So first things first, I'm going to pour both bags of the shrimp, because it's frozen, into a strainer and put some cold water over it, get it a little defrosted. So next I'm going to chop up the bell peppers. I'm gonna take half and put to the side for a different recipe for another day, and the other half I'm gonna put in a bowl for today's recipe. The recipe didn't call for bell peppers, nor did it call for the onion, but I really do like bell peppers and onions in my Cajun pasta, so if you don't like bell peppers, or if you don't like onion or whatever, you're fine to just omit these. I just feel like it gives it a little bit something extra. My son just eats around it. He doesn't eat these. So we're going to cut up the onion. I also only used half of the onion in this recipe, and I put the other half, or I'm going to put the other half away for a different recipe later on. So we're going to get this all chopped up. I left it decently big because my son is going to pick it out of his recipe later, or out of his helping later. So if they're too small, he takes forever picking out teeny tiny pieces of onion, because he will do that. But I'm not going to stop cooking with onion because I love it. Alright, so I'm going to put this other half in a Ziploc bag. There's what I cut up. Alright, so next I just threw those onions and bell peppers in a medium-high pan with some spray oil. Just going to soften those up. And next we got some water boiling. I'm going to put about 10 ounces of the penne pasta in there. Now this is where the recipe called for salt in the water. The Cajun seasoning already had a lot of salt in it, so I just didn't feel any need to add more salt. Alright, so now we're going to get butter, and also I use salted butter, so we're going to put this in the pan, and I'm going to cook the shrimp. So for this part, the recipe that I'm going to link down below and that you can find on my Pinterest page, so it actually said for you to defrost the shrimp and then mix the seasoning and the olive oil together in the shrimp and then cook them in the butter. That seemed a little excessive to first coat them in olive oil and then cook them in butter. So I'm going to, as you're about to see, I'm going to cook them in butter, and then later you'll see how I did with the seasoning, but I just didn't use the olive oil. It seemed excessive. You can do that if you want. It just wasn't right. For me, I felt like it would make my pasta just more oily. So here I am layering the shrimp into the pan so they cook evenly. Packed as many as I can in there since we're cooking 2 pounds of shrimp. But I'm going to do this in 2 sections. Alright, so I flipped the first set of shrimp. So as you can see, they're nice and pink. I'm going to cook the other side for just a little bit, get that butter around. So I've cleared the shrimp out, and now I'm adding 2 cups of cream. And you're going to get that bubbling. And once it bubbles, I do add a cup of Parmesan cheese, but I didn't show that, so just FYI. So here's what I did with the seasoning. I went ahead and dumped the shrimp and the butter that it was cooking in a bowl. And now I'm going to take the seasoning, which I did cut in half. I used half of what the recipe called for. So I'm going to go ahead and put it on the shrimp. Now I'm going to stir it around, and as you can see as I stir it around, okay, so as you can see as I stir it around, there's a lot of butter at the bottom, and it really just gets that shrimp coated. Nice buttery Cajun delicious seasoned shrimp. This worked out really, really well. So if you don't want to use both, this worked out perfectly fine. So here I am stirring the sauce. It's thicker now. It's because I added that cup of Parmesan cheese that I said I did not show you. Alright, so I dumped the pasta and the shrimp and the softened veggies into like a big bowl, and now I'm adding the sauce. Just as an FYI, it did kind of look like there was not enough sauce. I did double this recipe all the way around because I knew my family would eat a lot of it, and when I cooked the sauce, it didn't look like enough. But when you go and mix everything together, it coats everything. At least it was the perfect amount of sauce for my family. I think that it's a good amount. I don't think there's any reason to have made any more. So here I am giving a good stir. So here you can see it like coats everything, and the sauce was so yummy. So here it is plated, and we just served this with a little side salad. So this turned out so good. So next we're gonna make a French onion beef noodle casserole. So the recipe called for a pound of cooked ground beef. I only used a half pound because sometimes in casseroles and soups we will cut the amount of meat in half to make it stretch. Then I'm going to add 2 cans of cream of mushroom soup, of course Fit and Active Aldi brand. Second can. Alright, and then I'm going to add an entire container of French onion dip. If you can't find the French onion dip, you can just use the sour cream and the French onion dip mix. Or it'd probably even work with sour cream and maybe even the French onion soup mix, the Lipton's, or I would buy the Aldi brand. But that could probably work right here also. This recipe does not call for any kind of seasonings, like as in salt, pepper, garlic, anything like that, as you'll see in the recipe. And I don't recommend adding any. The French onion dip, or even if you were using a seasoning pack, it's going to give it enough punch. So I had also cooked 10 ounces of these egg noodles. And I'm going to put those in the bowl and get them coated. As you can see, I probably should have used a big old bowl like I did with the pasta, but I didn't, and so this is a little messy, but get it good and mixed up, everything coated. So next I'm gonna get my casserole dish out, spray it with a little bit of olive oil spray, and now I'm going to take that mixture and put it in the casserole dish. Smooth it all out. So now I'm going to get the French fried onions, and we're going to sprinkle these on top. The recipe does call for a certain amount, but I measure French fried onions with my heart, just like I do cheese, so I just sprinkled them on until it looked good. I know my son won't eat raw onions, but he did eat these French fried onions, so, you know, go figure. Alright, next you'll see me setting this to 350. I think I cooked it for like 30 minutes. Basically until it's bubbling and brown on the top, right there. That's it, right out of the oven, so good. So that's it plated. We served it with just some steamed broccoli that we just put salt-free lemon pepper seasoning on. My son loves it that way. So this was devoured. Alright, so next we're going to do a crock pot chili. Very easy. That fall weather. Perfect time for chili. Alright, so I'd cooked up, now for this one I did use a pound of ground beef, and then I use the other half of that onion from before. I do like my chili very meaty. That is where I'm not going to skimp on it. So it's a can of chipotle, like adobe peppers and chipotle sauce. And I diced up about 2 of those and put those in there. Next, I've got a can of kidney beans. I'm going to pour those out into a strainer, drain and rinse them. That's them right there. And then add them into the crock pot. So next we have tomato sauce. It's 2 cans. Alright, so next we're going to add a can of regular diced tomatoes. And then we're going to add a can of fire roasted diced tomatoes, my favorite. Alright, so now I'm going to add a beef bouillon cube. And a cup of water, so this will equal into 1 cup of beef broth. Alright, that's sugar. Add that in. Then chili powder. Cumin. Gotta get that added in. Cumin is always so hard for me to add in because the opening to my cumin is not big enough for me to put my measuring spoon in there, and it does not pour out easily. So anyways, so I'm adding salt to this. We do try not to add salt to a lot of recipes, but this definitely needed it. Alright, so then black ground pepper. We do have a pepper grinder, but this is definitely just, this recipe only needs just the regular ground black pepper. Alright, so I'm going to give it all a good stir. It's very full. I should have used my bigger insert for my crock pot. I don't really know why I picked the medium, or I guess this is my smallest one. I have one that's divided to put like dips and stuff in. But it's okay, it got right to the brim. It still works, so no problems. So we're gonna put the lid on this. And I cooked it on high for 4 hours. You can also cook it on low for 8. I just ran out of time. I needed to get it done. So here it is. I topped mine with cheddar cheese and green onions, and I also served it with homemade cornbread, and it was super yummy. Alright, so thank you for watching. I hope that you liked this, so be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you.